Yeah, of course.
Hello, all, and welcome to All Red. It's Liverpool visiting Crystal Palace FC at the weekend, and we are here to predict every part of the match. Here with my London Red, Aaron Cowell. Aaron, how are you doing today?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Looking for a clean sweep at the weekend, mate. A nice clean sheet would go down a treat.
I'd love to see a clean sheet. We love clean sheets here on All Red. This is the channel that is all Liverpool all the time, by the way. It's All Red. Please hit that like button. Consider subscribing, joining the All Red community as we continue to build an excellent Liverpool channel here on YouTube. All right, Liverpool visiting Crystal Palace. Now, Aaron, I predicted before the season started, I predicted all of Liverpool's 38 Premier League matches. This was supposed to be, according to me, our first loss on the season. Now, we've already had a loss against Forest, and I also predicted, by the way, that we would draw at Old Trafford. We all know that didn't happen, thankfully. But I still think that this is going to be a tricky match. Now, Crystal Palace have been absolutely terrible this year, of course. But that doesn't matter. We know that doesn't matter. Sometimes I think that gives a team, just a little bit more reason to go into a match with, should we call it carelessness, or just like, hey, we got nothing to lose here. We're just going to go in and play our heads off. And we also know, Aaron, that this Liverpool side does have a tendency to play down to their opponents. And so, this is going to be a tricky one. It's Palace away on 2.5 days of rest. And, of course, our favorite, the early slot on a Saturday. It just never fails, does it?
Yeah, especially after you've played on a Champions League on a Wednesday night as well, and you've had probably 2 days worth of being able to. I think he would have rested them probably over the days and had a light training.
Yeah.
Friday, I would imagine.
There's a lot of people, Aaron, talking about Slot's lack of rotation in his current side. What is it? I think West Ham was the only match so far out of 9 where we saw, basically a different starting 11. I think, was it Jota was the only one who is kind of in that preferred 11 who he started in that game. And the rest were changed. But I just wonder, Aaron, if Arne Slot's, training, not in the games, but the training, if he has a different training philosophy once the season has started to kind of reduce the intensity on the training side, to reduce the physical demands throughout the week, so that he can play his starting 11 more. I have no idea, but that's just a thought where I'm like, maybe he's got a different philosophy of like, how do you train in between games to keep your body, from getting worn down. Maybe there's a less intense thing there. But anyways, let's jump into the starting 11. As usual, Aaron, we need to agree to put them on the team sheet, and then we will get to our score predictions at the very end. So I'm going to just take a guess that Alisson is a shoe-in here for Liverpool. He's been looking fine. He made some good saves against Bologna, and he's currently fit, and I think he plays when he's fit in games like this in the Premier League. Do you disagree?
I totally agree.
Totally agree. And then, of course, it's going to be Captain Verge. And, I'm not going to say that Konate is a shoo-in, but I think he is. I just don't see Arne Slot dropping him in a game like this against a Crystal Palace side that probably will resort to getting chippy and physical to try to push us off a little bit.
Yeah, I also think, Sam, Crystal Palace are not the biggest back line. Mark Gahey is around about 6 foot. They're not the biggest back line, and I think set pieces could be key, especially with Van Dijk and Konate finding the back of the net. On a few occasions this season already. I think there's a real opportunity. You might see Liverpool throw a bit of height, some set pieces, and get these guys in there and put some pressure on Crystal Palace, because I think set pieces could be a really good route to being able to have some really good opportunities.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. Here's one thing about Palace that I think might be a little tricky is, they're not giving up bags of goals to teams. They've actually been decent defensively. They've got, they drew with Man United, lost to Everton 2-1, beat QPR, that was EFL Cup, drew with Leicester, drew to City 1-1. And so that could be their game plan, is like, let's just defend, park the bus, and see if we can get lucky. I think we saw, I wouldn't call Forest parking the bus, but we saw Forest just go all out on defense and hope for that goal, that one goal. And that worked out for them. When I think about this match, I kind of think like, if Crystal Palace were going to get something out of this game, they'd probably look at that Forest game and try to do the same thing. So I think you're right, Aaron. I think set pieces will be key in this. If we can come out, get 5 or 6 corners in the first half, we got to convert 1 or 2 of those, because
we've been good on set pieces this
very
season.
Good.
Very good. We look very good on set pieces.
2 against AC Milan. We saw Konate score last weekend. So I think you're right. I think these 2 guys are going to be key for that. Andy Robertson at left back, Aaron, you good with that?
I think he's playing really well.
I think he's playing very well. And then
Robbo's playing great at the moment, and Trent, is a little bit lazy at the moment, but hopefully he can have one of his better games against Eberechi Eze, who I think is a tremendous footballer.
I wonder if Trent maybe is a little disinterested because there might just be a lack of trust right now with him and the attacking quad for Liverpool. Trent, is the best in the world at taking the ball from deep lying positions and just making exquisite passes across 60, 70 yards. But, as a player, if you're looking at a pass like that and you have no confidence in your front line to take it and do what they need to do, I think that affects you a little bit. It probably makes you question those passes a little bit more. Maybe that's what we're seeing from Trent, but I think it's just a mental thing. He just needs to kind of get out of his own head and just play hard, bro. Like, go out there and play hard. I think I'd also like to see him get a little bit more involved in that final third. Maybe Slot has told him not to do that as much, but I feel like we haven't seen him in those advanced positions as much recently. And hey, maybe that's Slot saying like, hey, Trent, you need to work on your defense before you can get forward.
He was a key component to Salah's goal the other day, last night. Yeah, that run that he did, he took the defender with him, and that opened up a little avenue for Salah to be able to cut in and whip that ball in the top corner. So actually, I want to see, like you said there, Sam, I want to see Trent overlapping down that right-hand side because his delivery, and Jota is a predator in the 6-yard box. I want to see Jota getting more chances from Trent deliveries.
Yeah, we've been able to get into those positions. It's just that final pass that has been poor. We saw that yesterday against Bologna. We're like, okay, here we go. We're cooking. And we get into those positions, and the final pass is just straight to a defender. And it's like, wow. So anyways.
That was poor yesterday. In terms of them final balls, them little finesse balls to play someone in, we seem to mess it up every single time. And then a couple of bits of magic from Mo Salah absolutely rescued the game.
Yep. McAllister and Gravenberch.
No arguments.
The numbers are piling up. Minutes are piling up for them. At the same time, we go into an international break. And so for me, I think these 2 guys start. I think they're probably two of the first names on the team sheet right now for Arne Slot.
Agreed.
Aaron, I don't think we can say enough about Gravenberch this season. I think it's safe to say he's been the best midfielder in England.
I would agree. He's not a goal scorer or an assister, but in terms of controlling games, and actually the defensive side, he's been unreal. Defensively as well, in terms of breaking up play, interceptions, breaking through the lines and things like this. he's actually creating a lot of opportunities for assists. Mainly to Salah, actually. He's connecting really well with Salah on that right-hand side, where he has that penetrating run. And as he's kind of like getting towards the 18-yard box, is having that little ball to Salah. I think it might have been Gravenberch to Salah for the McAllister goal. Or was it Szoboszlai to Salah? I can't remember who passed the ball to Salah, but it was from a Gravenberch break through the lines from the middle of the park. And yeah, I can't speak highly enough of Gravenberch at the moment, mate. He's exceptional at the moment. He's having a really good season so far.
I was thinking about this yesterday after what Gravenberch did. I feel like we are on the precipice, the early days of a player that in 20 years we're gonna see like, oh, do you remember Gravenberch? Like we do with Xabi Alonso, right? Like you see little comps of Xabi Alonso where it's like, oh, do you remember his passing ability? And you watch it, from 20 years ago, and you're like, oh my goodness, this guy was amazing. I feel like we're in the early days of that with Gravenberch, because some of his touches yesterday against Bologna were just like, when you're watching it on the screen, and I'm sure it's even way more fun to watch it in person, because you can see the entire field, you can see the space that Gravenberch sees. But when you watch it on the screen, and Gravenberch has this touch that's like 10, 15 yards, right? It's like, oh no, there was nobody there. Like he knows exquisitely the space anywhere around him. And so these touches where yesterday he had one where it was like there were two defenders on him. He, without even receiving the ball, it's a touch. He splits the two defenders because they're running towards him. He knows that. So he puts it 15 yards in front of himself to where nobody else on the pitch is, and he runs.
How quick was he? Dude,
it's like...
This guy is quick,
he's quick.
Mate.
It's the long stretch. I think his legs are like 5 feet long, right? Like he's...
Patrick Vieira, mate. Patrick Vieira was 6'3", similar to Gravenberch. And he just had that ability to run with the ball. Patrick Vieira was an exceptional midfielder. And I said it to you at the start of the season, I see similarities between Gravenberch and Patrick Vieira. He's not quite earned that right to be in the same bracket as Patrick Vieira yet. But this guy's 22 years old. And I think we're looking at a potential superstar. Yeah, a potential world-class central midfielder.
Yeah. And I think he's already there, but hey, we'll give him some more time. He's 9 games into the Arne Slot era in this system that clearly, and we saw him excel at Ajax in a double pivot like this, and the quality was there. That's why Bayern went and grabbed him, and then they didn't know how to use him. But you can see the system that Slot builds around a player like Gravenberch. And it's not just the system that makes Gravenberch good. Like Gravenberch is good, but Slot is playing to his strengths, and it's incredible to watch. It's so much fun. There are people who will still say, "Oh, wait till Gravenberch faces a real midfield," and there's some truth in that, right? Like, go up against a midfield of Arsenal or City, or even an attacking midfield like Chelsea, and see how he fares. How does he do defensively? But hey, I think the proof is there, man. Like 9 games in, Gravenberch has been, I think you could say he's been the man of the match in every single game that he has played for Liverpool so far, and he's clearly been the player of the season for them up until this point. So we could go on and on about Gravenberch. We've got some decisions to make here, Aaron, in our attacking our attacking quad here. Let's start with the number 8 role. Do you think it's Szoboszlai again in this role?
Yeah, I think after Szoboszlai's had a good performance against Bologna, I think you have to play him. I think he's maybe doing the right thing, Slot. I think he's going to try and play Sobo into form again, because he had a really good 3 games, start to the season, and then he's had a bit of a dip where he's been getting a little bit of criticism because he's kind of almost turned into a nothing player. He just, you don't want to say about a player that all he contributes is being an engine and being able to get backwards and forwards, up and down the pitch really well. You want them to contribute as well. And actually, he was solid last night against Bologna. Really got stuck into those tackles. And actually, that's if he's not assisting or scoring, if he's physical and he's assisting with Maka and Grav and giving them the space to be able to run past him, listen, that's a great quality. Yeah. So I think Sobo starts, and if he has another performance like he did against Bologna, then hopefully long may it continue.
Yeah, I love Szoboszlai. I do. I think both him and Darwin for me are like, okay, if those two guys can figure things out, we're going to be unstoppable. We know that the quality is there for Szoboszlai. We've seen it when he plays for Hungary. We saw it last season at the beginning of the season. I feel like if he can get a bit of confidence, if maybe he can score a goal or two in the next couple games, he will be emboldened to take those shots from outside the 18 and make better decisions in the attacking third.
What he's renowned for as well, Sam. Yeah, he's renowned for long distance goals. Yep. I haven't seen him shoot.
Yeah,
I don't know what's happened. We're talking about a guy who is built a career on scoring screamers from 25, 30 yards, who now seems almost afraid to shoot.
Yeah.
And he needs to get himself out of that
it's mental.
That rut.
Mental thing.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is, mate.
Yeah. Okay. Mohamed Salah, I think, starts on the right. I think that's a pretty easy choice.
I'm hoping this guy has a few slightly better, minutes in the game and doesn't just not feature in the game because he loses the ball every 2 seconds, but then comes up with a moment of magic. I want to see him get more and more. Listen, he played really well in the first few games of the season, and we were talking about Salah is back, and similarly to Szoboszlai, he's kind of just fell off a cliff a little bit. Still getting the assists and the goals, which is amazing, but we, like you said, Sam, imagine the amount of chances we would have where if Salah just took a little bit more care in being able to deliver that final ball, slip through someone through that's on the run, play someone in, I just want to see a little tiny bit more from Salah because I know he's capable of it and he's an amazing player.
Amazing player, and there's so much of our attack that goes through him to where he's a very important part of that attack. And when he is off for 60 minutes of the game, that's 60 minutes of our attack that kind of falters out. And so he's a very important part of that attack.
Yeah, that's really true, mate. That's really true.
What do you think about the left side, Aaron? I think we've got two choices here: Diaz or Gakpo. Who are you picking?
I would pick Gakpo. I don't think he will pick Gakpo. I think he'll pick Diaz because it's continuity. But Gakpo starts for me. I think Diaz, he puts so much effort into a game that actually he could do with a little bit of a rest. And Gakpo is not. When Gakpo's come on as a substitute, he's looked really good.
Yeah. Well,
I'd give Gakpo a start and really, really boost Gakpo's confidence, because one thing against Crystal Palace is you want someone to pick the ball up and whip them balls towards the top corner.
Yeah.
You need to be having shots. You need to be putting the keeper under pressure. I would start Gakpo,
let's put him in.
But I don't think he will. Listen, I'd love to. For me, give Diaz a little bit of an extended break. Give him 20, 30 minutes at the end of the game and give him a little bit of an extended break leading up to the international weekend and bring him back on a little bit of form.
Let's put Gakpo in. We'll put it into the universe there. We'll speak it into existence. I think Jota starts, Aaron. Do you agree with that?
100%. Yeah, I think just because Núñez, unfortunately looks shot to pieces at the moment. He looks completely void of confidence.
He does. He just looks a little lost out there. Like he hasn't quite figured out what Arne Slot wants him to do on the football pitch. Just
put the ball in the back of the net, Sam. That's what he wants him to do.
Yeah.
But even his run the other day where he finished it really well, actually. But I was like, he's offside. I knew it as soon as he ran through. I was like, you've got unless he's got so much pace, the defender is never going to catch him. And his timing of his runs is so poor. He is constantly offside. And everyone keeps saying, do you think he'll come good? Do you think he'll come good? Do you think he'll come good? I hope he comes good. I don't think he will. I've just got this thing in my head now that he's just always going to be offsides, and you can't rely on scoring world-class goals constantly.
No, you can't. It's been a long time. We've been saying that for a while, that just wait, hey, just wait. I think if there is one manager I'd trust to try to get him there, it'd be Arne Slot. And so I'm going to give him.
He's developing play as well, mate. He's really developing play as well.
I'm going to give him time with Darwin. It's encouraging that he's actually playing. You look at a Darwin Núñez versus a Gerald Kwanzaa, and clearly Slot is giving Darwin minutes. So there's something there. I don't think Arne Slot is the type of manager to just say, well, we just need to put a player in this position to play the game. I think everything has a purpose and a reason in Slot's system. And so, because if Gerald Kwanzaa, if he was up to playing, I think Slot would put him in. We've seen Connor Bradley come in for Trent Alexander-Arnold almost every game because I think Slot actually trusts Connor Bradley.
Centre backs are them partnerships you don't necessarily break up during a game.
It's true,
But listen, I was really happy to watch Slot make 5 substitutions last night to give the guys a little bit of a break coming into the Crystal Palace game, and some key minutes saved in legs for some really key players. I think the fact that Diaz come off so early will probably tell you that he's going to start.
True, probably true. And again, we've talked about this for quite a while. I think the way that Slot plays the game, lessens the impact of minutes on players like Van Dijk and Konate. They're not running all over the field at all times. It's very controlled.
Well, they're getting help, aren't they? That's the difference.
Getting help.
Again, for Klopp, they weren't getting that help. It was like, Van Dijk, Konate, I trust your pace and your power so much. I'm going to let 4 guys run at you. And it's like constant, it's like, Trent, you go all the way down there, and Robbo, you go all the way down there. And actually, I trust Konate and Van Dijk enough to be able to take on 4 players. Now that's not the case, because you see, Gravenberch is really working in just sitting just in front of those. And McAllister's great at it as well. McAllister's a little pup. He's a little bulldog, and especially snapping into them challenges, mate. Listen, I've looked at McAllister about 10 times this season already as, oh my God, how's he not got injured from that? This guy, he's getting stuck into challenges like no one's business. And actually, that little blend between McAllister and Gravenberch looks really good at the moment.
Working very well.
Long may it continue as well.
All right, Aaron, we got to get into score predictions. Let's go with you first. How are you feeling about this? What's your gut reaction for a score prediction in this one?
2-0.
Okay.
To the Reds.
2-0 to the Reds.
I've got a little bit of confidence. I just think our attack's too good. I think Chiesa will come back into the bench. I think Núñez will be sitting on the bench. Núñez, Diaz potentially. And I just think we'll have too much firepower for them. And I think we are defending quite well. And I'm looking at, Crystal Palace from an attacking perspective look a bit disjointed at the moment. And I don't want Eddie Nketiah, who's playing on the right wing at the moment, to have any of the ball. I think Robertson will mark him out of the game. I just think we should be looking at Crystal Palace's dinner. And smashing these guys to pieces.
We should be, Aaron. I'm going to go with 2 goals for the Reds, 1 goal for Crystal Palace. I'm going to say a 2-1 victory for Liverpool. I want them to beat them more soundly than that, but I think I'm learning that there's probably not going to be too many 3, 4, 5-0 victories this season. Maybe. But I still feel like my gut before the season started was Crystal Palace away is going to be tough. And I still feel like it's going to be tough. I think we should be beating them soundly, but I'm going to go for 2-1. And it's going to be a Reds victory, I predict. But that's what I'm feeling. So, all right, we went a bit long here, Aaron. Fantastic stuff. We'll leave it at that. Get your comments below. What do you think this score is going to be? Do you disagree with our starting 11 here against Crystal Palace away?
Yeah, of course.